Alright guys, welcome back to class. Today we're going to be talking about pretty much the same thing we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, or for the last couple of lessons. We're just still solving equations with variables on both sides. This time, instead of working with only whole numbers though, we're going to be working with rational numbers. And if you remember from last unit, the unit before, rational numbers are numbers that are like our fractions or our decimals, all those funky kind of numbers. But you guys, it's the exact same process. There's not a whole lot that's new here, but I think you guys should all get this pretty quickly. We're still going to use our calculator to double check our work, but let's just get into it. So this is the first problem. Let me zoom in. Alright, you see it's the exact same setup as before. We still have a letter, we still have a number and then a number with a letter on one side, and then a number without a letter and a number with a letter on the other. Same thing. What you're going to do is you're going to circle 1 on one side, and then I'm going to circle the other with the letter on the other and its sign. So this is still the same process. What happens now? Now I take whatever I didn't write and I just copy that down. So I have negative 0.47x equals 1. And now what happens is these switch, right? And remember, when they switch sides, they switch signs. So this negative 2.8x now becomes a positive 2.8x. Okay. And this positive 5.66 now becomes a negative 5.66. All right? So, still the exact same process as before. Let's see now. I have all my x's on one side, so I can just figure those out. Let's see. 2.8 minus 0.47. Let's see. 2.8. Now, if this sign is in between two numbers, like how it is right here, you're going to use the minus button. That means minus. I notice a lot of you guys are confusing minus with negative on the calculator. Those are two completely different things. You got to keep them straight. If the sign is in between two numbers, it means minus. So, minus 0.47, let's see. Alright, I get 2.33x. Don't forget to carry down that x. Equals 1 minus 5.66. Alright, my calculator says it's negative 4.66. Alright, the last step, remember, we're still just trying to solve for my x, right? We want to get the x by itself. The 2.33 and the x are multiplied, right? When they're together, they're multiplied. So to break them apart, we want to divide to separate. So we're going to divide by 2.33 on both sides. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, always. Over here, these numbers cancel out. So all I have is my x equals, alright, let's see, negative 4.66 divided by 2.33 equals, beautiful, negative 2. So you guys see it's the exact same process. The only thing that changes, we're working with decimals. So try this next one on your own if you can. Try it on your own. Pause the video. And then we'll go over it together. Okay, cool. So hopefully you guys tried it on your own. Let's attack this problem together. So the first step, I'm going to pick one with a number, one without. I'm going to circle it. So let's see, I'm going to pick this one with the number, negative 2.7x. See, I know it's negative because the sign is in front. And then I'm going to pick one without the number 2.8. Same thing as before. I'm carrying everything down. So let's see, plus 0.4 equals, and I'm going to leave some space because I know I need to drag some things over, so I'm going to leave some space, minus 1.2x. Cool. So now what happens, yep, you already know it, these switch sides. When they switch places, they also switch signs. So this 2.8 now becomes a negative 2.8. All right. This negative 2.7x now becomes a positive 2.7x. So you can just drop that negative sign. Now, I have all my variables on one side. I have all my normal integers on the other. So let's see. Negative 2.8 plus 0.4 equals negative 2.4. So see, I use the negative sign for the 2.8 because the number is only in front of the sign is only in front of the number. But when the sign is in between the number, like right here, it's minus. If it's in front, it's negative. I've been seeing that this is a very common mistake in class. So now let's see. 2.7 minus 1.2 equals 1.5x. Okay, 1.5x. Now, last step. You made it to the last step. We want the x by itself. So we're always just going to divide. We're always just going to divide by whatever number the x is multiplied by. So we're going to divide on both sides by 1.5. All right, these cancel out, and we're just left with the x now, right? All we have is our x. And now we're just going to divide negative 2.4 divided by 1.5. And we get negative 1.6. That is our x. That is your answer. All right, so we've done decimals already. You guys are pros at that. Nothing really changed. Now we're going to get into fractions. This is where we add an extra step. Okay, so with fractions, it's still the same process. We want to move all the variables to one side and all the numbers to the other, but we got to address the fractions. Adding and subtracting fractions can get really messy, and it's frankly just a little bit too much work. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our fractions into whole numbers. And to do that, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by a number that will turn these fractions into whole numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my denominator, the bottom number of the fraction right there, and I'm going to see, okay, what do these two numbers have in common? Well, this one was pretty easy. They're both 4. They both have 4 in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now multiply both sides of my equation by 4. And you'll see that this gets the fractions into whole numbers. So I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to multiply 4 times 3 over 4 and then 4 times negative 18. So let's see, what is 4 times, and what you can do is you could do parentheses for your fractions, 3 divided by 4, it's 3. You see, it just turned it into a whole number. So now I have 3n, and let's see, 4 times negative 18, 4 times, and I'm saying negative because there's a minus sign in front, making the 18 negative. 4 times negative 18 is just negative 72. All right, first fraction, it's gone. So we're going to do the same thing. 4 times 1 over 4, and then 4 times negative 4. So let's see. 4 times, and all you do to put the fraction is, it's just 1 over 4, right? 1 divided by 4. And we just get 1. Okay, so 1n, that's just n, right? If it makes you feel better, you can put the 1 right there, but it's still just n. And then what you can do is you could just write minus 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. I'm not going to put that one in the calculator. All right, so now we have it set up like how we would usually approach these problems. Now we can circle 1 with the number or with the letter on one side, and then 1 without the letter on the other side. Now we just carry everything down. Negative 72 equals 1n. Our circled terms now switch sides. And when they switch sides, they switch signs. So my negative 16 now becomes positive 16. And my positive 3n now becomes negative 3n or minus 3n. So now I have my variables on one side, my, just normal numbers, my whole numbers on the other. So let's see, 16 minus 72, that's negative 56. And then 1n minus 3n, I'll do it in the calculator. 1 minus 3 equals negative 2n. Now, my last step, I want to get the variable, the letter, by itself. So I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides, always on both sides. These cancel out. Beep. And all I'm left with is my n. So I have n equals, let's see, negative 56 divided by negative 2. And I have 28. N equals 28. That's it. So you see, all it was just figuring out how to turn these whole numbers or these fractions into whole numbers. So we're going to try with one more example over here. So with this one, our denominators, our bottom numbers are not the same. Over here we got lucky. Okay, 4 and 4, that's easy. We can multiply them both by 4. This one right here, they're not the same, so we have to think of two numbers that they both have in common. Well, what I like to do is all you have to do is multiply the two numbers together. And your answer will automatically be a number that they both have in common. 5 times 10 is 50. All right, let's just multiply both sides by 50. Okay, so now I'm just going to, we call this distribute. I'm just going to multiply the 50 to both terms. 50 times 6, that's 300. Plus, and then 50 times 4 over 5, well, let's use a calculator. 50 times 4 over 5 equals 40, okay? So I'll just carry my variable over. 40 equals, all right, 50 times 9 over 10, right? All I'm doing is beep, multiplying. 50 times 9 over 10, 9 divided by 10, and that's just 45. So 45B. Okay, pause this, try it on your own. I'm sure you guys can do this one by now. Let me know what you get. Okay, so hopefully you guys were able to attempt the problem on your own. I'll just walk you through my steps really quickly. So once we got our term circled, all we do is switch sides, switch signs. So 45B now becomes negative 45B. 300 now becomes negative 300. I just added negative 45 plus 40. You get negative 5 equals negative 300. We want the b by itself, so we just divide by negative 5 on both sides. The negative 5 here eliminates, leaving us with only b. Negative 300 divided by negative 5 is 60. That's it for this lesson, you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. I know this is brand new, but it's the same process as before. I'll see you guys in class. Bye!